Yes. So, good morning everyone. Welcome to another session of structural analysis. In the previous class, we have discussed about the importance of structural analysis, isn't it? What is the use of structural analysis? Why we do structural analysis, isn't it? And after that, we go for the design aspect. Okay. So, I'll be uploading one more class I have taken regarding your shear force and bending moment. Now today we will be starting slope deflection method. Okay, so actually slope deflection method has been developed in 1914, very long back. This method has so many equations, so by the formulation of number of equations will solve the unknown reactions, unknown moments, isn't it? In the previous case, in your mechanics of materials, or especially in shear force and bending moment, we used to calculate reactions, we used to calculate moments with the help of sigma x is equal to 0, sigma y is equal to 0, and sigma m is equal to 0. Three equilibrium equations we have, isn't it? So whenever there are three unknowns, we can calculate those three unknowns with the help of those three equilibrium equations, that is sigma x, sigma y, and sigma m. But now whatever we will be studying in structural analysis is something wherein we will be getting innumerable unknowns, that is more than 3. So the structures which has unknown reactions which are more than 3, then those structures are said to be statically indeterminate structures. Okay, we have two types of structures. One is statically determinate. What do you mean by determinate structure? Simply supported beam, we have seen. That simply supported beam is actually statically determinate. That means we can determine the values with the help of our equilibrium equations, isn't it? Now, whatever the structures now we will be studying is statically indeterminate. We will be having number of columns. Previously we were having only 2 supports. But practically, do we have only 2 columns? We have 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, multiple columns will be there, isn't it? So the same thing will happen here. That is, those structures which has more than 3 unknown reactions is said to be your statically indeterminate structures. Okay, and this slope deflection method is very long back. It was developed very long back, that is 1914, and that concept now also we are using it. Right from 1914, we are using the same concept of calculation even now at this particular moment also. That is, even we are using STAAD.Pro or ETABS, or even we have an ANSYS, and even we have COMSOL Multiphysics. So many multiple softwares have been developed based on these equations only. Okay, and along with that we have finite element method. One of the latest method is finite element method, and after finite element method we have come across one more method recently, that is applied element method, AEM. Okay, so what happens actually is, before constructing a building we need to understand what is happening inside the building, isn't it? What are the loads acting on the building? So what we do, we try to develop a prototype. What do you mean by prototype? Prototype is something which we try to build it on a small scale. Okay. Before constructing a dam also, what they will do, they will try to construct a small dam. What is happening? They will reduce the scale down they will reduce the scale. Okay, you might have studied about dimensional analysis, isn't it, in your hydraulics, isn't it? So what they will do, they will try to reduce the scale of the structure. Okay, if the building is very big, they will try to reduce the scale to very small, so that we can see what is happening inside the building. So that scaling down we do in softwares. We have multiple software nowadays, so with the help of those softwares we do that. But at the same time, those softwares will not help you every time. You need to understand what is happening behind that software. Okay, so whatever we used to see in your C language, in your C and C++, many students will have, sir, why to study? Many first year students will have, sir, why to study C language? Especially civil students, they might feel that, sir, what is the need of studying C language or C data structures in case of civil engineering? But actually that C, C++, and all those softwares are actually the gist, or they are actually working behind our softwares, behind StatPro, behind eTabs and all. These are the coding which they do. Okay, so we need to understand that coding also, because software will make mistake, computer will make mistake. Okay, we cannot completely rely on computer. To understand how the computer is working and to understand how the structure will behave, we need to understand structural analysis 1 and structural analysis 2. Okay, so right from 914, very long back, we will be studying one by one, each and every method will be seeing. And as I told you before also, in the previous class also, that in this method, in this slope deflection method, you can see that we use multiple equations. In the very next unit, that is moment distribution method, we'll cut down all those equations into one table, a small table. Then after that, we will cut down that small table into very small calculation with the help of Canny's method. Canny's method is again we are using in the same software, that is StatPro and all. Okay, so one by one we'll be seeing. So I will write down the name of the unit, that is slope deflection method. Okay, so all these are methods. It's very, very important. All the methods should be known by you, how all these equations are coming out. Okay, so in this one we have few steps. Okay, there are few steps to solve the problem. Okay, before that, what I will do, I'll try to give you some simple formulas, and those formulas will be useful for us till the end of this third unit. Okay, it will be applicable for till third unit, that is slope deflection method, moment distribution method and Canny's method. Okay, so we have studied moment in mechanics of materials, then we have studied bending moment, now we are studying fixed end moments. Now we'll be studying what? Fixed end moments. So I will give you some formulas for fixed end moments. Fixed end moments. Now what is this fixed end moments? You can see our structures, RCC structures, they are all these beams are simply supported. They are fixed, isn't it? They all are fixed at one particular junction. So that particular point will create moment. Okay, so what happens here, suppose for example I have a beam here, it is fixed at one support and it is fixed at another support as well. We have fixed support on both sides. So what will happen when we apply a point load, of W at a distance of L by 2 and L by 2, suppose this is A and this is B. Okay, so what happens, because of this load, because of this central point load, my beam will try to get deflected in downward direction. At the same time, these two supports will create moment. That moment is said to be your fixed end moment. Support A will create a moment in anti-clockwise. See, the beam is going in downward direction. To resist that, it will try to create anti-clockwise moment. So anti-clockwise moment, it will be MF AB. That is fixed end moment at AB. Okay. At the same time, at this support will create again a clockwise moment. Okay. The beam is trying to deflect in downward direction. So what the supports are doing? They are trying to support the beam, or they are trying to take the beam in its original position, isn't it? They are trying to create, one support is going in anti-clockwise direction, another support is going in clockwise direction. So this one we name it as MF BA. Okay, so moment at A to B and B to A. All right. So this, for this case, for this particular case, that is, we have MFAB is equal to minus WL by 8. Minus MFAB is how much? Minus WL by 8. Okay, and MFBA is equal to plus WL by 8. Now what is L here? L is the total span of the beam. Okay, clockwise MFBA is positive, anti-clockwise MFAB is minus. Okay, this is first case. Another case is, suppose for example, you can copy down this one. Okay, let it be. So the next case is, the second case is, suppose for example I have a beam, a fixed beam, okay, and this fixed beam is having a UDL over the entire span of the beam. UDL over the entire span of the beam, that is, this is W per meter, this is A and this is B. Again what will happen, my fixed beam will try to create anti-clockwise movement at this point and anti-clockwise movement at this point. So MF AB and MF BA. Make sure that you write down this one in small m, okay, because our final moment, that is the actual moment on the beam, the total moment, because we'll be having so many bending moments and all, right? So this final moment we'll write it in capital M. So this one should be small m, all right? So our MF AB for this case is given as minus WL square by 12, and for MF BA the fixed end moment is given as plus WL square by 12. Okay, so very simple. When we have a central point load, it is WL by 8 minus WL by 8 and plus WL by 8. Similarly, when we have UDL, it is minus WL square by 12 and plus WL square. Don't get confused with bending moment. Bending moment, UDL, WL square by 8. That is different. Okay, so one by one we'll be studying. So you have to be very careful while calculation of moments. Moments will come till your masters. Okay, so moment. There are so many types of moments. So make sure that you don't get confused in those moments. So this is fixed end moment. Then in the next case we have again a fixed beam. Then sometimes what happens, the central point load will not be the point load will not be at the center. It may be somewhere like A and B, 3 meter, 2 meter or 4 meter, 3 meter, it depends. So during this case again the beam will try to develop fixed end moments. This will be MF AB and this will be MF BA. So in this case we have, this is third one, right? So MF AB is equal to minus WAB square by L square. Okay, we are calculating at this point WAB square by L square. L square is nothing but your span. Okay, now what about MFBA plus WA square B by L square. Okay, and the units will be always kilonewton. Moment is kilonewton meter, Newton mm, whatever the units you have to write that. Okay, so these are the three cases, and one more case we have, that is that we will be seeing while problems. Okay, these three are very, very important. You note down these three. The fourth one we will see in the problems. We will come across one problem wherein we will be having a clockwise movement, direct a moment will be there, a couple will be acting on the beam. During that time what will happen to the fixed end moments, we will see while calculation of the of that particular problem itself. No, pause it. So what happens actually, there are few steps in calculation of this slope deflection. Okay, so what happens is, you will be getting a beam like this. So now you see here, initially in the previous problems you might have come across only two supports, only one span, but now here what happens, we have two spans, AB and BC, right? So what we will do in case of slope deflection method, the very first step which we do is, we'll try to, otherwise we'll treat all spans as fixed support. What do you mean by this one? This is A, B and C. So what I will do, I'll take this particular span, treat all spans, that is, this is one span, this is another span, isn't it? And each span, all these spans will consider it as fixed beam. So what I will do, I'll fix AB, I'll treat this support as fixed. Then another one, this is BC. So whatever the loading we have, either it is UDL or point load, we'll try to calculate fixed end moment for each span, isn't it? MF AB, MF BA, MF BC, MF CB. All these things we will split the beam into two parts and we'll try to calculate fixed end moments. Okay. After that one, this one, we will employ slope deflection equation. We have a slope deflection equation, okay? We will use that equation after calculation of fixed end moments. Okay, what are those things? We'll see all these steps. It is very simple, we do not have to worry about it. Okay, now after that one, in the third step, apply equilibrium conditions. Apply equilibrium conditions. Now what is this equilibrium conditions? Again we will see while solving the problem. It is very simple. Okay, then the fourth step will be substitute the unknowns in slope deflection equations to get theta values. Now what we will do in the third step, substitute the unknowns, whatever the unknowns we have. When we go for the equilibrium equations, we'll get some unknowns. So apply those unknowns in that particular equation, you will get the values of all the reactions. So these are the 4 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, with the help of which we can calculate all the unknowns of the given beam. Okay, you can copy down this one. Pause it.